Hello, I'm Glenn. This is the second video I'm doing some sort of post-match analysis of a Blood Bowl league I'm playing at the moment. I realised that I didn't really do any kind of introduction to this in the first video I did in the series, which was a Chaos and Orcs game. I was initially just making it for the group of players who are or the coaches who are playing in this league, but I sort of made it a public link on a whim. And yeah, just thought in case anyone else stumbles across it, I should probably explain what it is. Yeah, so there are 8 teams in this league playing a round robin, which we've now finished as of last night. So playing 7 games, playing each other coach once. And 6 of the teams, 6 of the coaches are new players to the game who have sort of learnt to play for this league. We had sort of a few weeks where we were playing some friendlies of people getting the hang of the game or playing against the AI. One of the coaches was unable to do that, so has been learning to play while playing these sort of 7 league games. But yeah, so because there's been 6 beginners, it's just me and one other player who had really played it quite a lot before. So it's been a bit of a sort of learning and teaching experience of the game as we go, which is why I've wanted to look back at some of the matches and put some tips in, kind of aimed at I guess at beginners to help improve, or because it's such a steep learning curve of a game. Yeah, I just thought it'd be good to do it, and I really enjoyed doing the last one, so I thought I'd come in and do another one. But I wanted to look at this game, which is one that I lost, the Chaos team playing against Lizardmen. And then the Lizardmen player went on to win all 7 league games despite being new to the game, so has picked it up really well. So I'm not obviously he doesn't really need any help with how to play the game because he's picked it up really well. But we've kind of got a top 4 and a bottom 4 after this league going into sort of separate knockouts. So there's a good chance I'm going to play this Lizardman team again, and wanted to come back and have a look at what happened to see if there's anything that anything I can sort of learn from my defeat here, because I lost quite heavily. And at the end of the game, I think I had like 5 players left at the end of the match, and I was sort of putting the result down to the Lizardman coach being much more effective at taking players off the pitch than I was. But I think there was probably more than that that I was doing wrong. So I thought it'd be good to look back, look at my mistakes, and sort of cast that kind of critical eye over it that I've started enjoying doing. Yeah, so just going to see what happens here. So I'm kicking first half, which is usually my preference, especially with a more bashy team anyway. Yeah, because there's that sort of classic 2-1 grind thing, which I'd be trying to go for on a quick Lizardman touchdown, or the sort of 1-0 win if you can shut down the other team's attack in the first half. So looking straight away, this is probably not, because skinks are so fast, they're a real reason that I've struggled to play against Lizardmen teams in the past. And I'm already surrendering the flanks to potential attacks from movement 8 players, which could just invite a quick touchdown and then you go for the 2-1 win. But already looking at this, I think I'd probably do the sort of chevron deployment where you spread out across the pitch to try and limit free spaces to move through against a fast moving team like this. I think it's straight away is probably something I'd change. Obviously no immediate threat to my flanks, and I've got time to adjust to it. But yeah, Mike's set up really well here. There's no getting at this ball in this turn, so he's sort of achieved the first term objective of keeping the ball safe. And I'm just looking at trying to block off those ways through. Something I do like to try and do when playing against Lizardmen is to tackle as many skinks as possible, because they're the only scoring threats that they have, with everyone else having agility 1. So I'm probably just looking here at which Lizardmen can I blitz, and I think that's actually the only So I had no blocks on. I was only ever going to get one blitz, so Skinks having dodge helped out there. But yeah, I'm obviously playing pretty safe. Did all my moves before making that blitz, so there's no turnover suffered. Yeah, now there's kind of a couple of approaches I could have taken. Would have been maybe to stand off and limit how far the Saurus could move, and definitely how many blocks they could have thrown, and that probably would have been a better approach there. But not putting tackle zones on any of them might have meant, well, it would have meant they were free to move wherever they wanted, which could have meant a quick pivot onto one of my flanks. So they could have got a cage here of Saurus with a skink in the middle. That would have been really hard to break down. So at this point I look pretty solid. The Chaos team the other side to us there. But so I have used my. I think at this point the only two advances I had on my team were two beastmen with block. I'm not sure where the other one is. But yeah, so they're the kind of my blitzers, the ones I'm always looking to make a blitz with. Block and horns, there. Yeah, beastmen make fantastic blitzers. So you can see, is that going to clear now? Let's clear that name off there. Okay, just want to look here at. Okay, so this stunned beastman here has left a gap, which I'm pretty sure is where the move is eventually made to go score with this drive. Do have a beastman back there as cover, because if a skink gets through on their own, there's a really decent chance of taking them down. But yeah, I've left myself a little bit weak on that side. And the 4 Chaos Warriors facing up against the Saurus in the middle makes it really hard. Yeah, I mean, without taking them off the pitch, there's going to be no going through there. And that's just going to be, obviously the Chaos Warriors are outnumbered by Saurus. And the amount of strength 4 that a Lizardman team puts down on the pitch is another reason why I usually struggle to play against them. Unfortunate dodge. Double ones there. And that actually leaves me a good opportunity to attack the ball carrier. So, I mean, obviously you might have won this game, but that was maybe a dodge you didn't need to make. Like if you could have got that skink in there, which was maybe the aim, it would have been a better protection. So one in there to take out the Saurus's assist, which probably wasn't necessary, yeah, because it would have been strength 4 against 3. Would have been the same. But used a reroll to make sure I got the ball carrier down, but often don't like using rerolls on blocks that aren't turnovers, but I sort of usually make an exception if it's the ball carrier. Yeah, so we've got 3 tackle zones each on the ball here. And yeah, to get the ball that secure, I've had to put a lot of beastmen in danger. I think that last one was just in to make sure that wasn't immediately 2 dice blocks everywhere. But so Lizardmen now have to have 3 beastmen to try and clear off the ball. And yeah, it's a good choice. It's a priority for that Saurus. Get that one out of the way. That's a reroll done to put that one down. That's a player off the pitch. I think the first one. That evens us up for numbers, I think. Or not quite. Lizardmen are still outnumbered at this point. So it's all three of those beastmen successfully cleared away from the ball. Perhaps didn't need to. Yeah, perhaps standing all of those there put them in danger. Has left me a player down. Another one for a half. Could maybe have just stood off. Tried to just make it harder to get through rather than harder to pick the ball up. Picking the ball up is always a risk anyway. Don't necessarily need to put a -3 on it, which, you know, as we've just seen, can be easily cleared off anyway. There's another reroll used for no gain there. So the reroll only gave me the option of a pushback. But we do have a Chaos Warrior right in the ball carrier's face, although he's pretty outnumbered and won't be difficult to move. Should probably have followed up there to take out some assists. Just going back there, so that was that. Yeah, that Chaos Warrior should really have followed up there to put assists on. That'll stop these Saurus having assists available. Would have protected him a bit more. And that was what I later identified as a mistake. I said a couple of minutes ago I'd left myself weak on this side. But I think I saw this gap here. That a skink could potentially slip through and move my sweeper over. And I think that meant he later struggled to get over to that wing. If you're going to keep a sweeper back, especially Chaos aren't a quick team, you sort of need to have them central to be able to react to where the attack comes. So that was an error. I'm only moving 6. There's a lot of space there he can't reach, and then a lot of space he can't safely reach. That Chaos Warrior has easily moved aside, not knocked over. Some more pushing. And there's a, yeah. Okay, so went for the dodges there. Stunty really helps to get through sort of crowded tackle zones like that. And yeah, because I'd moved this sweeper over, it's going to be tough to get a blitz on him now. We're looking at having to dodge down here to do it, which is not ideal for a Chaos team. I've got no one with the dodge skill in this team. Not as yet. One of the beastmen picks it up later. I failed that dodge. Have to use my last reroll to try and keep him on his feet, but do. And the blitz works out. Obviously at the time I'm trying to stop the Lizardmen scoring, but there's a sort of benefit of hindsight of knowing, I know that he eventually scores in turn 8 of this half, which is no good to me at all. If he'd scored now, I may have had a chance to strike back. So it's, you know, so with the benefit of hindsight, sort of forcing him to score, and sort of the adage as well, which I mentioned last time, of making the opponents roll more dice than you is how you're more successful at this game. So if I'd have forced dodges, forced him to make blitzes to clear tackle zones out, is that going to be more effective than just knocking the ball carrier over? Because skinks can dodge through a packed area fairly easily. But making them make more dodge rolls is more chances of failure and turnovers. So because I know in the end that blitz didn't help, Just maybe I didn't need to make it, maybe I just needed to pressure them to try and force the score. Just different options. If you're going to be going for a 2-1 grind, I wanted the Lizardmen to have scored by now. So that last turn would probably have been the last opportunity. Giving me 3 turns to try and force a touchdown. So here I should perhaps just be looking at moving this skink, trying to crowd the ball out. If I can pick it up, that's great, but I've got no re-rolls left, and there was a double skulls turnover, and with no re-rolls left, that's no good. And now this should be an easy touchdown, but picking up the ball is always risky, and Lizardmen are also out of touchdowns, out of re-rolls. I sort of got another chance to defend it. Should be standing that Chaos Warrior up before throwing this block. And that one. Well, perhaps, yeah, okay. I was trying to clear that Chaos Warrior to be able to go first. To blitz, so this one was then available to pick the ball up, which I didn't really need to score. I had 1 turn to, yeah. Standing as many tackle zones on the ball would have been a better move though. Just make it hard to pick up. Still got 2 tackle zones on the ball. That's a -2. So we're looking at a 5+ pickup for a skink. But if I could have got another one in, maybe 2 more, we're looking at 6s to pick up, which I'd feel pretty safe, although there's still a slim chance. And that's where the touchdown comes in. So I did make that 5+ pickup, and a couple of go for it's at the end as well. So then that's more or less the half. That skink back. Looks like Beastman stays down. So I've got 1 turn. Let me just show one of the things I did. Try and get to the end of my setup. So swapping some Beastmen round for particular reasons. So I had 1 Beastman with 5-star player points. I've got 1 turn, which I can't really do anything in. So I'm looking for him to have the ball and throw a pass to someone to level up. Just if you've got 1 turn left and you're getting the ball, you might as well look out for players you've got 5-star player points you can do that with. I don't think anyone else did here. Also, something I do wrong with this setup along the line of scrimmage here is these Chaos Warriors should be in 1 more square. I don't think I do that for this kickoff. I think apart from that player I'm trying to get the ball, I'm just looking at how I want to set up for the second half, because it will remember my setup. But I get to throw a rock happen on the player I went to throw the ball with, which is quite unfortunate, and he's out. Well, it was lose a point of agility or die with the apothecary roll, so took the agility penalty. But he's out for the rest of the game and missing the next one, so it's another player down. 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, down to 8 players. 9 players, sorry, this one as well. Just see if I can maybe get a player off the pitch or 2. I'm just moving to get another 2 dust block. Yeah, because I didn't have those extra Chaos Warriors tucked in, I've got no block on this player. Could have got a cheeky pass in there, but didn't pick the ball up. maybe have chucked it to one of these beastmen, but would have been a long shot anyway. So that's first half, 1-0 down. I'm receiving the second half, so I'd feel fairly good about trying to get a draw at least. Obviously players down, the Lizardmen are one skink down. One beastman down injured, and the knocked out one doesn't come back, so I'm down to 9 players to the Lizardmen's 10. So it's a bit of an uphill battle already, being outnumbered, and a touchdown down. But yeah, it's about to get worse as well, and the attack obviously doesn't work out. You saw the result at the beginning was 2-0 to the Lizardmen. So obviously my attack doesn't work, I lose the ball and concede another touchdown, which I think again is right at the end, so there's no chance to score back either. Do put those Chaos Warriors in that time. Going, yeah, so it should be 2 dice blocks all the way along the line. At least I have that opportunity if nothing goes wrong. But we get another throw rock, and the Lizardmen having +2 fame. It was never going to go well for me. But that's a Chaos Warrior out for the game. Meaning I need to, if I want those 2 dice blocks all the way along the line of scrimmage, I have to put another beastman in here. Which means I have 1 less player available to screen the ball. And that's kind of the beginning of where the attack starts going wrong. So I could maybe have just left these 3 Saurus marked, made him choose if he wants to just leave them there or roll 1 dice blocks, or try and use someone else to get an assist in. The beastmen are probably more valuable screening the ball carrier than offering assists to the Chaos Warriors. So the ball's pretty safe at the moment. I don't think it's the Saurus definitely can't reach it. I'm not that bothered about skinks blitzing me, so just hanging back. If I want to draw the game, I've got plenty of time to score. And at this point, being so outnumbered and a touchdown down, with not a quick moving and not agile team, I'm probably looking at 1-1 as my best option. So yeah, this beastman has now been sucked into this battle along the line of scrimmage, and being weaker than all the Saurus, he's kind of wasted there. So one of my blitzers now pinned against the touchline, and yeah, they're just putting this skink in here means these are all going to be 2 dice blocks, although the Saurus stood up this turn, so I'm losing that battle on the line of scrimmage already, whether that beastman's there or not. So I need him available in my next turn. I now have to do something with the ball because I've got a Saurus bearing down on me. I've thrown another beastman in here to try and even it up, but I don't think that's really what I should be doing. I'm looking at my not being able to afford to lose another player, and one of my best beastmen laying on the floor against the touchline. I'm sort of saying, because it's going to be a 1 dice blitz, I'm saving that till later. Otherwise I should have stood him up earlier, but he's safer laying on the floor than standing next to the touchline. So here I'm trying to get the ball safe somewhere. So going for a handoff, which I need to burn a reroll on to try and get the ball a bit further up the pitch. So maybe thinking somewhat about, can I sneak a quick touchdown, then a turnover for the win. But I should probably be playing safer, getting that ball more solidly covered. Perhaps in this pocket here, this beastman further over. So I've left a space here for this Saurus. When the tackle zones come up, you might see it. I don't know what it's going to show us. But yeah, this Saurus has space to come and make a 2 dice block in here. Making all the safe moves first though. Anything that doesn't require a roll happening first. Still dominating the middle of the pitch. Frees up that skink to move in here, which is a good safe play. Might have been more worthwhile just dodging with the skink first. It's probably a less of a risk. Don't know about the numbers. That's another player down. Again, one of my best beastmen. One of the two beastmen I have with block. So now I'm in here with a skink on the ball. I've got players available to blitz that skink to try and knock the ball out of their hands quickly, but then I'm looking at having to pick the ball up again, which is always risky for an unskilled Agility 3 team. Yeah, that was a big gamble pushing the ball carrier against the side of the pitch, because let's try and clear the caption. Yeah, I think pushing there definitely would have been safer. I've got a beastman who'd catch it on the 6. You know, on the off chance, but also it's kind of more likely, it's unlikely that any of these would have catched the bounce. But really, if the ball had then landed sort of anywhere here, yeah, it'd been alright for me. But as it was, if it had gone off the pitch, which has a 3 in 8 chance, it really could have gone anywhere, and the skinks are always going to outpace me to any loose ball. So, not a great idea. I should have been playing safer there. I think that was actually the first casualty I inflicted in 3 games. So beastman in, pick up the ball in a tackle zone. Failed the dodge out, but I think made it on a reroll. Yeah, it makes it on a reroll. And then I want to be trying to mark up Saurus to try and protect him. There's nothing I can do about this one, having the space to get through. And that's the immediate play that's made.
They're attacking the ball carrier, Bob.
I know, Jim. I'm watching the same match.
So that's the important play done. Could maybe have set this Saurus up first, but worked out fine in the end. And that's still the centre of the pitch being dominated by these Saurus. I've had to draw 2 of my Chaos Warriors out to deal with things over here. Which, so here I'm sort of in a position where I'm being forced to dodge to achieve anything at this turn now. I think all I've really got on, which I think is what I did, is this Chaos Warrior on this skink. If I can knock it over, I've got this beastman free to perhaps blitz here and pick the ball up. I think that's all I really have on. I need to try and do something about this beastman on the floor. If he blitzes, that's 1 dice without block. I want to use my blitz really on this skink. So I may have to consider leaving him on the floor, but that leaves this Saurus free. So just to push on that skink, but away from the ball, and then try and pick it up, which works out. So just something that came up, we were talking about go for it's a lot in the last video. So I had 2 go for it's available there, but that really gains me nothing. I'm not going to get away from any of these either of these. There are only 2 skinks left on the pitch. So I did pretty well at removing skinks. There are only 2 left on the pitch. But going for it twice and then standing in the end zone is not going to have really gained me anything. I'm not going to get away from them. Yeah, so I chose not to use them there. It's just risking giving the ball away. Did have to stand that beastman up in the end just to occupy the Saurus. I didn't want to leave him available to yeah, go take down my ball carrier. So it's either dodging this Saurus or using skinks to blitz my ball carrier, and he gets a 1 dice blitz in. and takes them both down.
One side got superior.
Maybe drop the ball and gets a knockout. So that's another player down. So at this point, I'm looking about to go into turn 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players left. So missed anyone? No, just 5 players left.
That player's shuffling off the field.
So scoring a touchdown now is looking pretty desperate. I've got marked Chaos Warriors, I've got marked Beastmen. I have to take a turnover there without block. But really that 2 dice block was the safest move I had. It just didn't work out. So definitely some things I could have done better, but I think getting to this point, the Lizardmen have just been so effective at getting players off the pitch that I'm running out of bodies to do anything with.
He won't leave them alone anytime soon.
But I didn't protect the ball well enough when it was up here. And I gave away an easy blitz in there. When I had it again here, I didn't have the players to prevent the Saurus coming over to blitz. And at this point, I'm pretty sure this skink just goes on to score now in the last 3 turns. And I don't think anything else significant really happens. I think my last ditch was trying to get this Chaos Warrior free to go and put pressure on the ball, but I think even if he hadn't fallen over there trying to get into the tackle zone, this Saurus would have got him out of the way fine. That was a sort of desperate last ditch play, and I think from this point we could probably just skip ahead to the skink just moves up the wing. Very little I can do about it, and then scores in the last turn, maybe the turn before last. Yeah, so skink's up to there. My last turn. Just seeing if I can pick up a casualty for star player points. A stunned Curse Warrior who failed to go for it finally gets up, but I'm not getting the ball. Use my blitz there instead, because even if I'd knocked it over there, well, he's not getting to him. I just made a desperate few dodges to try and get a tackle zone on, but failed that last crucial one. And then it's just running in. I think it's probably the only action, it's just running in for the second touchdown, and that's the game. So definitely things I could have taken away. I think playing against Lizardmen with all the strength 4 and now 5, this team now has a Croxigor as well. I think getting sucked into a big line of scrimmage battle when you're clearly outmatched, just not a great idea. Better protection of the ball carrier. I was short of players, but I definitely could have protected my ball carrier better. Interesting to look at how the dice are spread, and it's pretty even. I mean, more 1s and 6s, but I don't think in this game it's any good bemoaning how the dice land for you, because you have to plan for things going wrong. That's just how this game works. I've still got 1 go for it roll in the whole game, which was that 2. The 1 failure was that Chaos Warrior near the end. Don't remember where the other one was. So I'm still playing fairly safely with the amount of rolls I'm making, but there were a couple of occasions where I maybe could have been making my opponent roll more dice than me by forcing them to dodge rather than trying for blitzes. But I'm a chaos team. I should be knocking players over and injuring them and getting them off the pitch. But I had the opposite done to me in that game, so that didn't work so well. But I said at the beginning we'd finish this league, and these are the teams we had in it, and how I finished third with 4-1 and 2 record. I'd like to look at the other game I lost, which was against this vampire team, which was the other player who had already played quite a bit before, so it's 2 new players in the top 2, which was really good to see. And I drew against this elf team, so All my sort of not wins were against the other teams in the top four, and we're going through into knockout against each other. The four bottom teams going for that as well. Yeah, so I'd like to look at some more of these matches. We're having a week off before we start the playoffs, so yeah, it'd be nice to maybe spend some time. I might have spent playing, looking over some old matches. I definitely want to look at my games against these two to see if there are any other mistakes. I know I definitely made a big mistake right at the end of this game to give away a touchdown for a 2-2 draw. But yeah, it'd be good to see if there's anything else I could have done. I think I definitely didn't defend well enough against this Elven Union team, and left them a lot of opportunities to score that I shouldn't have. So it'd be good to look at those. I'd like to shout out, like I think I said earlier in this video, or meant to, I've been playing this game for a long time, but sort of over 20 years, maybe nearly 25 years. But I've never played in tournaments or anything like that, so I don't have any kind of championships to dangle in front of you as like a qualifier for why I should be talking about this. But I'd like to shout out Andy Davo, who does have that kind of caliber, and I've watched him do a couple of videos like this recently, and it sort of gave me the idea of looking over some of the games from this league in a similar way. But if you're sort of not one of these players who's stumbled across this, I'm going to put a link to his channel below this video, because he does this far better than me, and yeah, I'd recommend going and have a look at those. He sort of spots things while he's playing that I just never think to look at, just by the way the sort of shapes that players are forming on the pitch and what opportunities that can give him and things. That it's really interesting to see that at work, and he seems to have the percentage chance of basically every action in the game just in his head. That's well worth looking at. I'd recommend going to look at those. But yeah, I hope someone's found that helpful. I think I have, looking back over that beard at that, seeing Andy's nickname there, looking back over that match, I think I found it helpful, seeing some things I could maybe have improved or reconsidered. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if I play that Lizardmen team again, because they've won 100% win record. They're going to be tough to play against. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. See you later.